Hello, I'm Dave Feinlieb, and this is Beyond the Shelf. This show is an open exploration of the people and process behind e-commerce. Through conversations with innovators in the space, we learn the stories of these leaders and their strategies for e-commerce success. You can find out more about how we're helping leading brands and retailers like Pepsi and Instacart build retail media and product detail page content faster than ever before at itsrapid.ai. My guest on today's show is Jennifer Angelus, Director, Digital Shelf and Capabilities at Danone. Prior to her current role, Jennifer held roles as Senior Manager, Digital Shelf, and Content Manager, e-business, and started her work at Danone as Associate Manager for Category Strategy and Insights. Prior to Danone, Jennifer was with B&G Foods, Pinnacle Foods, and Starbucks. We discussed Jennifer's role at Danone, her insights on the digital shelf, and the importance of being present to do your best work. Please enjoy my conversation with Jennifer Angelus. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. I'm so excited to be here for an amazing discussion today.
Well, we've got a lot of great topics to cover. Would you take us back? How did you get your start in the space?
Absolutely. I think, as you'll see with many of my examples, it was truly a light bulb moment. I've had many of these. And really, throughout my entire career, I've always worn many hats, and I was really ready for a new challenge. So there was this, as you mentioned, opportunity at Danone to be a content manager, but digital shelf wasn't really on the map yet. You know, it was 2019, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and really the rest is history. So since then, I've had the opportunity to really build the team and the strategy from scratch. And so now we have the opportunity to truly be this digital shelf center of excellence to set the example for Danone and the industry.
I love it. You have these light bulb moments as I've gotten to know you that I feel have really given you this opportunity of change the course. Would you tell us about some of those? I know you had one when you were at Bucknell, one of your earliest light bulb moments.
Absolutely. Yes, it was true to have another light bulb moment at Bucknell. I went to Bucknell to study neuroscience. And it just so happened that I wrote one paper. I was in a cognitive psychology class, and it was called, on the topic, we could choose our own topic, and I chose neuromarketing. It was this up-and-coming field no one had really learned about yet. And so with this paper, I just fell in love with the idea of marketing and understanding consumer behavior, ending up creating my own major in consumer behavioral studies, and really the rest is history.
It's such a great journey that you've had. You also have this word, amazing.
Yeah.
Will you take us through that? What was the origin story, and how do you use amazing day to day?
I mean, it's become quite a bit of a brand in my everyday. It's, again, one of those light bulb moments. I was responding to an email that I was really excited about. And again, this was early in my digital shelf days back in 2019. And it just hit me amazing. And then it stuck, and I keep using it. I don't know, maybe next we'll have some swag, but now it's something known not just within my team, but our leadership team references it. I hear it now outside of Danone with all of our agency partners. And so it's been really fun. So I think next we need some swag for that.
Amazing. Amazing. The amazing swag. Put me on the list, would you all? I'll be on the wait list. Such a great branding. It's fun. And it's a great way to think about the space, really. This space, broadly speaking, you've had so many great experiences here. You've got Pinnacle Foods, you've got B&G Foods, and now at Danone. Would you tell us a little about the category and, of course, the company? What do you enjoy most about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think first and foremost, food is fun. Food is so relatable. This is our livelihood, right? We all need to, people, I think, a community are always brought together by food. So I think just to start being in that CPG food space is really fun and so tangible to our lives. And I've been at Danone now 9.5 months. So nearly a decade. This is my last few months to say 9 years, 9 lives, because truly I feel like I've had 9 lives here at Danone, from careers that keep shifting, like you said, in category management. I was in trade marketing. I was in shopper insights, then digital, to now leading a full team. So continuing to grow. I'm so really excited about that. And I'm just so proud to work for a company that really enables these opportunities for personal and professional growth, and to have those chances, to take a chance really and expand my career and move around the company.
It's a great journey for others like yourself that are leaders in the space and want to think about going from one area to the other. What's the thought process when you're thinking about a new area, and what kind of gives you the conviction to be able to say, yeah, I want to take that chance and do something like
Yeah.
in the same company, but something new and different?
I think it's about always having this generalist mindset. So it's one thing to become an expert, which we've built, right? But it's also to be an expert. I truly think you need to have this generalist mindset, because to lead a team, you also need to be able to relate to all of your cross-functional partners, speak their language, understand what's important to them. So by moving across these different teams, you kind of live and breathe that day to day. And so once you get to a point where you're in a role, as I am director of digital shelf, I can kind of see the lay of the land across the company. I know how to navigate the relationships. I know how to influence differently depending on what's important to the audience. So I think it's thinking of yourself as a generalist, not necessarily a specialist. Even if you are an expert, is important because it enables you to build those relationships.
So well said. And now in your current role at Danone, you've really built the team and the strategy from scratch. Will you tell us a little about that and the journey, and also what your day-to-day looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. I really love my job. My team knows it. I think all our partners know it too. As I say, amazing, as we talked about, because I really feel that we have the best team and we're learning every day. I feel so strongly that you get the right people in the right roles and you're just thriving. So within our team, we have 3 pillars. So first we have content creation, where, and you'll hear me say this as we talk too. So as I get through this strategy, everything is really about the how. So yes, it is the what. You need to have the what, but to really be successful and go to market, you need that how. So when I say content creation, it's really about having that consumer first content. When I talk about our second pillar, which is syndication, it's really about having that customer first execution. And then our third pillar, measurement, it's really about having that data-driven insights and actions. So I've really had the opportunity to build the strategy and the team from scratch over these last 5 years. And the growth of that has really inspired me. So in this last year, I actually challenged my team to choose one word that describes their 2024 that they want to manifest. And in the moment, I was so excited to choose a word. I just chose the one that came to me first, which was rocket ship. And I quickly learned that's actually 2 words. So I was so excited about it. I just kind of stuck to it because I really felt like the rocket ship was what we wanted to embody. And so when I reference the strategy and I talk about the growth of my team, I say, really, we're ready to accelerate and explore uncharted territories because we know commerce is evolving each day. We're ready, I say, blast off with new capabilities and really shape the future of not just digital commerce, but this idea of unified and connected commerce, because truly those lines continue to blur. And I really think there's no limit on the opportunities that the team has, because we're really driving this future of commerce and working together and across the organization to really craft our journey. As again, the analogy is reaching new heights and propelling growth, for what we say across really the omni-channel path to purchase. But it's not just about the digital shelf anymore. It's the digital shelf and beyond, because we know these purchases are digitally influenced. And so it's about having that one team mindset that's going to get us there.
I think we may have found the title for the podcast, The Connected Commerce Rocket Ship. So
I love that.
that may be the one. So speaking of commerce and digital shelf and all things in this area, you've built this center, you've got this strategy, which is really amazing and really clear, I think, which is a great way to drive success. Would you tell us some of the things that you're focused on kind of in executing on the digital shelf strategy?
Absolutely. So we've been laser focused on rebuilding processes across Danone and integrating those processes into Asana. So also I'm really big on driving efficiency and automation because that will enable us and give us more time to focus on building the strategic acumen and the what's next. So that really allows us to future-proof the digital shelf with new capabilities. For example, like we know with the growth of exploring AI. So it's really important that we build these cross-team processes and drive that integration.
It's a great way to think about the space and exciting areas to be working on. When you think about content specifically, what role does content play when you're executing on this digital shelf strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first you have to have that strategy for content, right? That is the foundation of your house before you can even build the machine around creating content. You need the strategy, and that truly your content is the heart of the digital shelf. I always say this, and I think analogies are so important, is that I say the PDP or the product page is your packaging. So as much attention as we're paying to beautifying packaging with redesigns and bringing innovations to market, we always need to keep in mind that the PDP is really our opportunity to amplify the products and the brand messaging. So truly without the content, we don't have the basis for syndication and measurement, right? Because that's our starting place. We need first to have the content, then we need to get it to our customers, then we need to measure and iterate and really define the strategy in the future. So this is really a circle of success, I would say. But content's really that foundation that gets us there.
And when we think about content on the shelf, we got images, we got video, you've got copy. Do you kind of balance them all the same way? Do you invest in different areas at different times? Or how do you think about how to go about making the investments?
Yeah, well, I think content's really a journey. So you have to understand where you are as an organization for your starting point, right? Because at first you need the foundation of your hero images and your SEO. But once you fill all of your, what we call content gaps, then you start building the rich playbook of content across everything. So I think and it's important to think of it in phases. You don't want to necessarily do everything at once because speed to market is so critical. So you need to first focus on the most important conversion driving factors and what are the things that are going to drive the algorithm, and then continue to build your capabilities and your content presence from there.
It's so well said. And one other question on content. You've got existing products in the portfolio and you've got innovation, new products that you're introducing. Do you have a different content strategy in those two areas, or is it stay on this journey, or how do you think about the balance there?
Well, first, you have to always, especially with innovation, you need to come with that full suite of content, right? Because like I said, this is our opportunity to be the packaging in a virtual environment. And we know the digital shelf is digitally influencing retail sales. So when you think about that, just as you would complete the packaging for an in-store planogram, we need the full content completeness for any launch. It's our opportunity. We even have more real estate for education. So for us, it's like we need to, and I call it often, I say in shopper marketing, you have your key visual, right? Digital shelf, you almost have like a key visual on steroids because every single touch point is your opportunity to just completely exploit your product and innovation and bring it to life in a really meaningful way that you can connect to the shopper, connect to the consumer. So for innovation, absolutely you need to have content completeness. Then the same goes for more of your evergreen strategy is, like I said, first you have your strategy, then you have the basics, then you expand to richer content, including like enhanced content, video, things like that, and focusing like what does that funnel look like for your organization so that you are able to build the machine, I call it. And you get to a point then where you have your foundation, then you start talking about seasonal, then you start talking about scale activations. So you kind of have to look at it in phases, and go to market with, also depending on the either channel or product, the right strategy.
When you think then about the team to support that, how do you think about structuring that and building the team? And
Yeah, absolutely. I always say to build a team of generalists, not specialists. I think it's absolutely critical to your success, especially in this space. Yes, you need experts by all means, but you also need people to come into the team with this overarching understanding of what the person next to them is doing, because that's truly what's going to drive your point of difference in your cross collaboration in the team is, are you building that special sauce? What is that secret sauce that is going to create that cohesive go-to-market strategy? And it's really about having that cross-team understanding, having the cross-team collaboration. And even if someone's feeling overwhelmed, having people that can step in and support, it goes such a long way to building the right team culture, but then also building the strategy that drives our success.
this is a great segue into something that you've talked about often, which is being present when you're doing all that work.
Yeah.
Will you share with us maybe first, how did that become something you put the emphasis on? And then how do you go about doing it? It's so hard to do these days.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in execution, this has become a bit of a tradition of sorts for me. And my team knows it now inside and out, is that it's really important for me to connect with my team on this level of energy. Because we start now, it's a tradition. It's part of our agenda. We start every one-on-one and team meeting. So whether it's one-on-one, we can have some like real talk about where someone's at, or a team environment to see maybe where someone needs to be supported. We start these meetings with an energy check, I call it. So now my team comes to the meeting and they're like, okay, let's start with our energy check. Because I truly believe that who we are as people matters more than anything. And if we're not feeling ourselves, how can we expect to also be high performing within our team? And so I really spend a lot of time emphasizing with the team, we need the balance, we need the energy management in the team, because it's really helped us to build a more powerful and stronger team every day and, build a cohesive culture of support and collaboration. I really believe in leading my team. So they call us people managers, right? And I think that's really has an important lesson, because we'll only be as successful leaders if we can see the whole person and not just the work person. And I really believe it enables greater engagement when people feel not just seen, but also heard, and that they're in this environment of, understanding, and that we want to know where they're at. And okay, if you're here, how do we get you there? And it also brings energy to the team. So it's been a really exciting journey.
I'd love to take a moment and talk about where you think things are headed. We've covered a lot of great topics today on digital shelf, content, being present. What does the next 12 months look like for you?
Absolutely. So I think twofold. One, I can speak within Danone, we're really focused on omni-channel activation. We've recently launched a really exciting and truly transformational process. And we worked as a cross-team collaborative working group to create what's called a commercial success activation guide. And in this activation guide, we brought together all of the key critical stakeholders to drive commercialization and asked the hard questions. How do we get the right timelines to deliver across all of our customers when we know there's no standardization? What are the timelines? What are the requirements? And from there, we also created a checklist to drive that engagement with the customer and needs for the brand teams too. So what does best in class commercial execution look like? And really getting laser focused on digital shelf being an essential need for every single launch. Everything from, as we talked about, innovation to maybe it's a scale event with on the shopper side. So bringing all these teams together from what we call omni activation to category commercial, which is really like shopper, trade marketing, digital shelf, sales, marketing, bringing all these teams together and saying, okay, what does truly look like? What does best in class look like? And how do we get there? What are the timelines? What are the requirements? What are the, business needs that we need to aspire to? What are the assets we need to create? And having one cohesive go-to-market commercialization plan that's really changing the game for us. So that's within Danone. And then I would say for the industry, I really think we're moving into this world of hyper-personalization, especially with AI, how AI is learning their algorithm, right? And we're all going to have some sort of algorithm. At some point, we're going to reach this place where hyper-personalization is the norm. And so trying to see ahead and see where that's going to take us will be really important.
Before we talk about some fun wrap-up questions here, maybe you can just talk about the Danone portfolio so our listeners have a feel for all the great products that you're working with.
So a lot of our categories are in refrigerated space. So I'm sure many know us for our house of brands with yogurt. So of course we have Oikos, Light and Fit, Activia, Danimals, the list goes on and on. And then we have our plant-based portfolio with Silk and So Delicious. We also have our baby brand with Happy Family. So there are over 15 brands in the portfolio. So a house of brands, but a house of really impactful brands. Danone's mission is to bring health through food to as many people as possible. Also being a certified B Corp. So there's just endless opportunities for us to bring these amazing, I'll call it, portfolio of brands to market.
It's such a great story. We started with food and how central it is to our lives and our families and so on. And now we've kind of wrapped with food and the portfolio. So it's a great way to wrap up. I have a few fun questions for you at the end. The first of which is, and I know it's hard to pick only two, but which two people have inspired you the most in your professional career?
Yeah, I would say this was probably one of the hardest questions out of all of that because obviously the reason I got to where I am and the reason I've had opportunities to learn and grow are because of all of the amazing before I was in digital leaders that came before me. So this is really hard because there's too many. There's so many inspirational leaders and mentors that have just stretched me to learn and grow. But what I can say universally is I'll call out my dad because he was so patient and coached me really through the early years of preparing for my career, even back to when I was got my first internship at L'Oreal. So from writing applications to the interview prep, what questions to ask, he really taught me all about the grit and challenged me to build my story. So he was the first person who really taught me about storytelling, which I think, as you could tell today, has been foundational to who I am. And then if I had to pick a second, I'll just shout out collectively to how my team steps up and inspires me every day, because we wouldn't be doing what we're doing if we didn't have the right people in these places to do it. And I'm constantly learning from them so I can grow into a stronger leader. And as I said, we're on this rocket ship journey and we're really being recognized as a digital commerce leader in the industry, but also within the leadership at Danone have been extremely supportive. So I'm really just inspired by that engagement from the team, from all the leaders across Danone within the team, and how the team is just showing up as leaders every day.
This is a great source of inspiration. The second question is, if you get some time, when you get some time, what are your favorite hobbies? We talked about one of them earlier, but if you share some of your hobbies with us and interests outside of work and family.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I do have two beautiful children, so my family is everything. But if I do ever have time for some me time, I really love yoga and meditation. So I have my level 1 yoga certification. So I actually got that right before COVID. So I didn't have any opportunity to start teaching anyone. So I do it personally for myself. And I wish I had more time for it. And I think that's back to the point on energy and balance. Like, energy management is everything. And sometimes you need to take those moments to breathe. And sometimes those are your most creative moments. So making the space for that.
I love it. Making more space and just being present, which I think is one of your
Yes.
kind of your big areas of focus and rules for the road right there. I could have you on for a whole other podcast to cover all the other interesting areas. But last question is, if our listeners want to reach you online, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. They're happy to email me or reach out to me on LinkedIn. My email's my name, jennifer.angelus@danone.com. So they can find me there or LinkedIn. I'm always happy. This is my favorite thing, is to connect with other peers and leaders in the industry. So thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Such a pleasure talking with you today. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me on Beyond the Shelf.
Yeah, and thank you, Dave. I'm really, truly honored to be here on Let's Coordinate, your amazing podcast, and to be a part of this community. So thank you.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. Beyond the Shelf is brought to you by It's Rapid. It's Rapid is the platform Pepsi, Sierra Nevada, Revlon, and hundreds of other leading brands and retailers use to build personalized content at scale. Whether that's images, videos, or product descriptions for their product detail pages, shoppable videos or banners for their digital ad campaigns, or sell sheets for sales enablement, brands that use It's Rapid are able to produce high-quality, on-brand content on average more than 80% faster than category competitors. To find out more, please visit itsrapid.ai. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Shelf.